King Charles could make dozens of staff redundant, apparently, because he's got too many people doing the same job. So the King is said to be planning to get rid of a number of middle managers at the royal household. You know what I'd really like to see him do? Get hold of the NHS next. But there we go. It's seen as part of his attempts to modernise the monarchy, streamline the monarchy. I'm joined now by royal biographer Angela Levin. Angela, thank you very, very much. Great to have you on the show as ever. OK, this is a good or a bad thing?
Well, I think it's a very interesting thing, actually. I mean, the sovereign grant is £86.3 million that the government gives them for anything to do with royals. That means each of us have to pay £1.29p. I personally think that that's not very much, but, you know, add it all up, that's what it is. I think it's the result of a king marrying someone who doesn't come from royal stock. I know Camilla, I wrote her biography, and she's not somebody who's very flash, who wants lots of staff hanging around her. And she's used to running her own home, and she still does up to a certain extent. And I think it's just she feels that it's a waste. They don't need all those people. I mean, I'm sure Charles has got used to it all his life. But this way, if you think there's a senior housekeeper, an executive housekeeper, and juniors, which sounds to me like Downton Abbey rather than actually, London in 2023. And I think that that's perfectly okay. And if all the palaces are going to be slightly changed to be museums, several of them are, you don't need the staff there either. It just depends if what they're given when they leave, and if they can help find jobs for them or write a good comment so that they can be taken up. But I think the thing that I find odd is that King Charles wants everyone to turn down the thermostat as well, so you don't use so much heat. And I mean, I can't. That's something else. You know, you can manage without 3 housekeepers doing similar jobs, but you can't manage in a very cold room, especially in our winters.
No.
I mean,
No, it's not really. Like you said, I really do hope, though, that these people who've probably been loyal staff, hopefully for quite a period of time, because that's the issue that I would have with it, which is that if they're middle managers, there is every chance that they've been around for a few years and they've gradually worked their way up to middle management. And it would be a shame, I think, to see those people who've been loyal servants now go. But this could be a very good way of just making himself that little bit more relatable to the public. I think, we do live in a day and age now where everyone's very quick to jump on everybody else. Everyone's very quick to criticise. And any sign of wealth or success, whether or not you've actually earned it, is a big bone of contention. So maybe he could be more relatable now by getting rid of a load of staff and maybe making his own cup of tea every now and again.
They've been very relatable, actually, since the Queen died. They're very, they talk to lots of people. They're more relaxed. The King is much more relaxed to have his beloved wife by his side, and they can actually want to relate to the people more. I think King Charles is very good at that, but a lot of people don't think he has. But what is very interesting, whenever I've been in one of the palaces or gone to interview or talk to any of the royals, the staff work incredibly hard. It's not that they lounge about, and often they have to go and look if they're going to another country, see how it should run, work out all sorts of things, timing, and they have to work very, very long hours. So it's not just everybody who's going, it's just possibly people who have got very ordinary work and they're not really needed, and they can get very bored as well. I'm sure anybody who would take on a housekeeper from Buckingham Palace rather than somebody who they don't know what sort of has happened in the past.
No, I mean, absolutely. You would have thought that there would be no issue. People, where did you used to work before? Buckingham Palace. OK, all right, you can come and clean my flat. That would be great, wouldn't it? I'd love that. And I'd tend to wheel them out at house parties. So-and-so cleans my flat. Yeah, she used to do Buckingham Palace. This is it.
Yeah.
Look, what's the latest on the reconciliation saga between William, Charles and potentially Harry as well, and Andrew as well? In fact, let's touch on that one. We've not spoken about Andrew, you and I, for a little while. So Andrew appears to be well and truly back in the fold, doesn't he?
Well, I'm not sure.
Oh.
I mean, I think it's quite difficult. He still has a dark cloud hanging over him because there's going to be more court things and other things going on. But what they are pleased about is that he doesn't nag, he doesn't criticise the royal family as it is now or as it was. He doesn't complain vocally, and he has disappeared. For a lot of all the occasions that he hasn't been wanted. So, in a way, to have him as a sort of just now and then to give him a lift in the car or take him to church or something like that, I think that's okay. But he will not have anything to do with the royal family. He will not represent the royal family at all. As for Harry, it's a disaster zone. It is just terrible. He's coming over on the 7th.
I mean, how toxic is Andrew behind the scenes, do you think? Because it seems to be a bit mixed in the court of public opinion. You've got some of those people who say, well, look, he wasn't ever really found guilty of anything and this, that and the other. And then those people who say he should never show his face again. So he appears to be occupying a halfway house.
Yes, I think so. It's very difficult, isn't it? I mean, he won't leave his house on, that he should do. I mean, his wife is there after a nasty operation for cancer, but he's obviously going to try and stay there and not actually leave. King Charles wants to put him in the house, the cottage that Harry and Meghan had, but he doesn't want something so small with 5 bedrooms. It's an enormous house and he wants to stay there. So that's not very good. Charles and Andrew have never got on well together, very different people. And Prince Charles always thought that his parents preferred Andrew to him because he was much more macho, much more manly, and Charles liked to talk to flowers and gardens and read, heavy books. And so, and there was a row with him about Meghan. He didn't think she was appropriate. Mm-hmm. So they're not close. But I think they're being just dignified, and they have invited Fergie to special occasions now because they feel that you've got to move on. They don't bear a grudge. Camilla, in particular, does not bear a grudge. That's how she's been able to manage Harry.
OK, interesting stuff. Right, Angela, thank you very, very much. Always a delight. I will chat to you again very soon. That's here's royal biographer Angela Levin.